Today, I'm exploring the food of famed Chinese chef Peter Chang again. This time, I'm visiting his restaurant that showcases something called Lu Wei, the Chinese tradition of marinating and braising meat, typically lesser-known cuts, pork parts, chicken parts, and duck parts. It's usually something that doesn't have a spotlight on it, but it does here. Let's go. For a Chinese restaurant to serve Lu Wei isn't unusual in and of itself. Many Chinese restaurants do. If you've been to a Chinatown near you, you may have seen roast ducks and soy sauce chickens hanging in a storefront display. The trays of meat underneath the roast ducks, that is the Lu Wei. But at those usually Cantonese-speaking restaurants in Chinatown, they will refer to it as lo mei. That's how you say it in Cantonese. But for Peter Chang, or Zhang, Z-H-A-N-G, as he spelled his name this go-round for this restaurant, for him to spotlight Lu Wei as he has, and to make it a central concept for a restaurant, that is unusual, and thumbs up to him for spotlighting this Chinese tradition. As I've mentioned, various meats are prepared in the Lu Wei tradition, and beef shank is one of those meats, and let me start with that, the marinated beef shank. You can adjust, the spicy level, and I got this less spicy, and I ordered the pig ears as well. That's a common item that is marinated and stewed. And when I say marinated and stewed, it's a combination of Chinese spices and soy sauce and other things. Some things are kept very secret, from place to place. Each place does it maybe a little bit differently. And I got the pig ears medium spicy, but I noticed when the young lady was helping me at the counter, she merely pulled the items out of a case. So, I got my food really quick because there was no cooking involved. It was all packaged already in this display case at the restaurant, at the front counter. So, let me dive in. This is supposedly less spicy beef shank. Let me see. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. I've had marinated beef shank at a few places over the years, and this is extremely tender beef shank. Sometimes you kind of have to work at it and kind of gnaw on it and chew on it because, the beef shank is not cooked, until it's really tender. But this is really, really tender, and it's marbled, as beef shank is. It has a marbleization throughout each of these slices, and the Szechuan marination and the Szechuan flavor is really there. It is quite noticeable. And it is less spicy, but you can still enjoy the spice. But what really jumps out, because it's less spicy, is that flavor. Szechuan peppercorn is part of that braising liquid, if you will. It's not sprinkled on at the end to finish it off like on some Szechuan dishes, but the peppercorns, I believe, are floating in the braising liquid and releasing its flavor, the marbleization that I spoke of earlier. It doesn't come from pure fat. It's tendon, kind of like strips of a kind of a tendony kind of flesh. It's almost transparent, and that provides a very interesting and essential, really, textural variation. Wow. Okay, I got 2 condiment cups of the braising liquid. I think that's what it is, or maybe some sort of soy sauce, but one is spicy and one is not spicy. Let me just dip one of the shank pieces in the spicy sauce and see how that affects the flavor and the experience. Oh. Oh yeah, there's some vinegar in that dipping sauce. Yeah, and so it does give it a little bit of spicy zip. It does make for a different experience, but I wouldn't say it improves it necessarily because, wow, it's already so good. Oh, there is some chili oil that's kind of resting on the bottom. And oh, if I agitate it, I can pick up some of that chili oil that's kind of settled to the bottom of the container. Oh, wow. Oh yeah, that makes a difference. Some of the surface pieces in the container originally wasn't lathered as well as some of the bottom pieces in the container. Wow. So you pick up some of that chili oil. It's not that spicy again, but it does add flavor. Okay, I'm hesitant to move on from the beef shank because it's so good, but let me get a piece of these pig ears. And the pig ears are sliced really thin into little, almost wafer-like slabs. So you got a little bit of the skin and cartilage material that's present in the ears. Let's see how this is. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, man. The flavor is very similar to the beef shank. The chili oil and the braising liquid is essentially the same, but texturally they're very different because the cartilage in the pig ears, you have a very crunchy experience. It's very firm and crunchy in a very pleasing way. Oh, man. The skin itself is not very porky. It's just kind of slightly gelatinous, and it acts as a very good counter note to the crunchiness of the cartilage. Yeah, and because I ordered it medium spicy, it is a little bit more spicy, and I can feel the Szechuan numbing effect, the tingling effect from peppercorns on my tongue and on my lips, which I didn't feel from the beef shank. Wow. I forgot to mention, there's also, a generous helping of cilantro in here as well, and sesame seeds. And that also is contributing to the overall experience. The things I've had so far, the beef shank and the pig ears, I guess you could more or less regard them as appetizers. And the next item I'm having isn't a main course either. It's the marinated chicken leg, but it's fried. So it's a crispy marinated chicken leg. In other words, in Lu Wei, the marinated chicken isn't crispy. Everything is marinated and stewed, so everything is kind of soft and more or less wet to the touch, and there is no crispy factor. But what they've done is they've fried the marinated chicken to finish it off and made it crispy. The chicken looks really plump, and it has a kind of marinated amber color to it, so it looks the part, really. Wow. I'm gonna grab another piece. Let me grab the leg and try this one. In terms of the flavor, the chicken is very savory. You can taste the marinating spices in it. But in terms of the crispy factor, straight up fried chicken, that would be crispier. This one is just a tad crispy. It's not exceedingly crispy. Let me have another piece. I had a thigh piece and the leg piece. And here's another nice piece. Yeah, the combination of that chicken meat and that skin is really, really tasty. It's just not terribly crispy. The next item is the marinated pig feet, or the pork trotters. I think I'm going to abandon the fork for this one and just grab it with my hands. Ooh, here it is. The pig feet, it's a lot of skin, so it's gelatinous skin mostly, and a little bit of meat. Mmm. Wow. Oh. I got the non-spicy version. I was just inclined to get that. This is served cold. It's not warm, so the pork trotter, the skin on the pig feet is very firm because, you know, it's not soft, in other words, from being warmed up or being heated. It's a very firm skin because it's cold. And each piece is slightly different. I mean, in terms of the skin and the kind of tendony components. Let me bite into this one. Oh yeah. That's nice. With this next item, I guess I'm moving formally into the main courses. This is called the marinated duck delight pot. It looks like a mala concoction. It looks like one of those spicy Szechuan broths that you see in a lot of Szechuan dishes. So it has the marinated duck parts in it, and I think it includes wings and feet, and it has potatoes and tofu in it also, and you get to choose another item, and I think the choices were riblets. I think the other one was pork intestines, and I forget what the other one was, but the other one was pig feet, I'm sorry, but I ordered the pig feet separately, so there was no point in that redundancy, so I got the pork intestines. I wanted to try those, and so it's all in this huge container in that sauce, and there's a little bit of vegetables in here too. Let me agitate it just a little bit and get some of this on my rice, because this is certainly something you eat with rice. Okay, here are the pork intestines. Wow. It has a very chewy kind of texture to it. It's not like eating meat, and it has kind of a bouncy texture to it. It's actually pretty good texture-wise. There is a slight porkiness to it. I wouldn't say it has a kind of intestine-y, off-putting taste to it. It's a slightly porky with a spicy flavor from that broth. I'm tasting the chili heat, but I don't taste the Szechuan peppercorn flavor. And maybe I'll get a better understanding of it as I move deeper into this bowl and get some more of the other ingredients. This duck wing, I got it onto my rice, but it looks unwieldy in terms of eating it with a spoon or a fork. I'm just gonna have to grab it and make do with my hands. Oh, wow. That tasted much more spicy than the pork intestines did, because the wings have a way of soaking up that broth, and so it has a spicy kick to it, and the skin just kind of peels off very easily on those duck wings. There's a slight bit of meat, but the overall experience of eating the duck skin is it's gelatinous and savory and spicy. And you can taste the marination or the stewing factor in those wings. And so that broth really adds another layer of flavor onto the wing. Here's some tofu and potatoes. Oh. Oh, there's some, looks like bok choy in here. Oh. Okay, the next piece that I'm going to eat is this duck foot. I think I'm going to have to, again, use my hands. I'm just going to pop it into my mouth and see if I can scrape off all the skin. Mm. 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 Wow. You gotta have to wonder what sort of company you want when you eat these things, because it's not pretty. I had to spit out the little bones, the metatarsals or whatever they were. So you might want to consider ordering this or reconsider ordering this maybe if you're on a date or something, or you want to impress somebody. You don't want to be you don't want to be spitting out toe bones or feet bones. But yeah, so you basically, the experience is just scraping off the skin off of the feet. You know, maybe you can get some of that webbing in your mouth and scrape that off too. And so yeah, you're getting the gelatinous skin texture from the duck. You know, I could taste the marination and you know, the spiciness from the sauce, and so all of that is the experience. Well, as I end this episode, I'm glad I got a chance to go to Lu Wei by Peter Zhang, because I almost didn't even learn about it. It had such little public fanfare and advanced press, and mostly people learned about it through word of mouth. I think because Peter Chang spelled his name differently, as I mentioned, Zhang, that there was some confusion about whether or not it was one of his restaurants. But, you know, it is firmly established that this is a Peter Chang restaurant. There is no doubt about that now. But there was some confusion, and it was like back in his old days when he was bouncing from one place to another and people couldn't figure out, you know, what restaurant he was working at and where they could find his food. But yeah, it's firmly established now, and Lu Wei is on center stage. And I'm happy about that, because this Chinese tradition deserves more attention. And if you are in the DMV or near Fairfax, Virginia, you should really check it out. But if you're not, you can also get Lu Wei, or Lo Mei as it's called in Cantonese, at a place near you. And maybe you can search it out and try some of those braised meats and marinated meats. Or if you can't, you can always go to a Chinese grocery store or an Asian supermarket and get some braising liquid or braising sauce. I think that's what it's called. It comes in a bottle, and that can get you started. But if not, you can even make your own braising liquid. Usually the sauce or the liquid is made from light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, Shaoxing wine, and sugar. And the aromatics usually include things like star anise, coriander seeds, fennel seeds, cloves, cinnamon, you know, ingredients like that. And that will get you started. You can build it up over time. And in fact, the master's stock in Cantonese is called Lo Sui, which translates to old water. That's the literal translation. So your master's stock won't be old water when you begin, but it eventually can be. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you on my next food adventure. Bye-bye until then.